Hello, test delay, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are or not. We are going to talk today about a very special individual. Very, 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 very special individual. We are going to talk about Yuthok Yonten Gonpo, the father of medicine, of Tibetan medicine. We can talk about medicine, we can talk about healing. There are different levels of understanding of those two words, and perhaps in another video, please comment here below if you would like me to talk more about this. But oh, I think I need to add this. But there is when to talk about medicine or healing, yes. When we talk about medicine or healing in Tibet, we are talking about three different levels: somatic medicine, tantric medicine, and dharma medicine. And when we talk about Yuthok, he was the 12th century physician, Ngakpa doctor, and who put together the basis of what we nowadays call the Tibetan somatic medicine. Because of his efforts in healing and teaching and clarifying, we have the the four tantras of Tibetan medicine as the spine of the whole study of Tibetan medicine. So it's impossible to talk about Tibetan medicine, healing in all its different levels of understanding without talking about Yuthok Yonten Gonpo. Well, first of all, I think we should establish that Yuthok was a Nirmanakaya of the medicine Buddha, or in other words, he was an emanation here in human flesh that we can be able to relate. Let me share with you. Yeah, here we have Yuthok, one of the most beautiful tankas of Yuthok I have ever seen. Here on top is the medicine Buddha and the four dakinis, the pacifying dakini, the enriching dakini, the magnetizing dakini, and the wrathful dakini. She doesn't look that wrathful, but believe me, she gets the work done. And here we have the protector of Tibetan medicine, Shanglong. But the beauty of this image of Yuthok, it's without compare. It's really my favorite. Anyway, talking more about Yuthok, we need to talk about, of course, his very special family. When we talk about Yuthok, we also talk about he as a emanation of, let me see here, of Yuthok the Elder. We are going, if you want, we can also, please write down there, if you want, we can talk about, make a special video about Yuthok the Elder. But Yuthok the Elder is the one who lived during the rule of King Trinson Dyutzen and was instrumental to the establishment of a standard understanding of healing in Tibet. He also treated King Trinson Dyutzen's father, so he has been around, and he lived for around 100 years. I don't remember exactly how many years, but he crossed the same 100 years. And actually, the tradition says that Yuthok's family came from India. They were rulers in India and migrated to Tibet, and the lineage continued. Um, there's a great story about one of the Yuthok's ancestors. What's his name? Jagar Dorje. Jagar Dorje. So Jagar Dorje, he cured. I'm going to make this story very short, but Jagar Dorje cured a Naga, and this Naga was having some diseases. He was very sick, and once Jagar Dorje was able to cure this Naga, the next day the roof of the Jagar Dorje's family was covered in turquoise. And people started to ask, what is going on? You have turquoise on your roof. And Yagador just said, yeah, we washed those turquoises and they are drying. But the truth is Yagador had no idea what's going on. Took some time for him to realize that actually it was the Naga saying, thank you for curing me. And Gagardorje's house became so famous that everybody started to call Gagardorje's family the Yuthok family. Um, Yu means turquoise, and Tok means roof. So the turquoise roof family. And that's how this family started to be called Yuthok. And from Gayakadorje, it came down many doctors all the way to Yuthok Yonten Gonpo the Elder. This statue is so beautiful, guys. We need to agree that it's just the most beautiful statue of Yuthok I have ever seen. And Yuthok the Elder, the story goes that he actually traveled to India, Nepal, China. There are stories that he went all the way to Persia to study medicine. And then at a certain point, the king, I think was Trinson Dyutzen at that point, uh, made a great healing conference that brought doctors from China, from India, from Nepal, from Afghanistan, from Persia, and even from Greece. And that became what we call the basis for Tibetan medicine. Well, with this understanding, eventually Yuthok was given a piece of land in Gonpo, south of Tibet, by King Chinson Dyutzen, and he started the first Tibetan medicine college. Not only that, he also is credited for having written the Yuji. The Yuji, yes, has a lot of his knowledge, but the story goes that the medicine Buddha taught the teachings of the Yuji of Tibetan medicine, in Buddhist medicine, in Tanaduk or Sudharshana, his Pure Land, and those teachings came down to Guru Rinpoche, who came down to Dakini Shrimala. We are going to talk about Pauden Trengma Shrimala later, and Yuthok. So those teachings were kept alive within the Yuthok family. And at the same time, the Yuji got hidden in the middle floor of Samye Monastery in a pillar by Guru Rinpoche, Yuthok, and the translator Berotsana. And that explains why the emanations of Berotsana are all great doctors, like Jangon Kontrulo Drotaye. Yes, the emanations of Berotsana, they all have something to do with medicine, with healing. It's something really beautiful to observe. And the Yuji, the four tantras of Tibetan medicine, disappeared. Yuthok the Elder passed away, of course, and 13 generations after that, the subject of our conversation today, Yuthok Yonten Gonpo, the younger, was born. And here you have it. Another beautiful statue, but this time of the subject of our conversation, Yuthok Yonten Gonpo, the younger, the one who read the Father of Tibetan medicine, the one who transformed healing in Tibet. There is so much we can talk about this extraordinary being, about this extraordinary healer, this Nirmanakaya, this pure emanation in flesh of the medicine Buddha. But you might be asking yourselves how he came down to to earth, right? Well, the story is that Yuthok was born amidst a rain of flowers, accompanied by rainbow light and heavenly music. You know, music that nobody really knows from where it comes from. And the story goes that as soon as Yuthok was born, he started to recite the long mantra, the dharani of the medicine Buddha. Of course, he was born in a medical family, and they could identify it immediately. And when he was 3 years old, he started to perform pulse examinations, getting people's pulses and let me see what is going on. Point at medicinal plants and say, oh, this plant is good for this, for that. And people would be very, what's going on with this baby, with this little boy, 3 years old. Anyway, when he was 8 years old, he started to learn medicine formally with his father. And he just mastered all the medical texts that were put in front of him. And not only that, also the Dharma, the Buddhist doctrine. And when people would ask him, how do you know that? How? And he said, well, I learned from Manjushri. So people started to call him Manjugosha uh, Yuthokpa. So he had, if you look at let me see here, the statue, you are going to see that there is a bumpa here, a vase. There is a Vajra representing Bodhisattva Vajrapani. There is um, let me make it a little bit. There is an Aruda and saffron, but in the other, of course, lotus is representing Chenezig, but in the other side we have this sword in the book representing who? Manjushri. And in a certain point in his life, he declared, I am Pema, Padmakara, Guru Rinpoche. I am Manjushri. I am Chanezing. I am Vajrapani. So he was the combined essence of the three families, the combined essence of Guru Rinpoche, and the combined essence of Medicine Buddha. Mm, how I do this? Okay. So continuing our story, um, so he was like a little Manjushri capable of studying and memorizing and knowing all topics of art and medicine, of dharma and language. Very important because um, Yuthok started to travel to India. I think how many times he went to India? I don't know. I think 6 times. But anyway, when he was 18 years old, he started going to India and he translated texts. He studied texts in India like Somaradza. There are so many texts that I don't remember now. Right now, I only remember Somaradza. The whole healing tradition of Nagarjuna, the Ayurveda, um, everything. And actually, my best friend and great scholar, Eric Rosenbusch, who has been studying Siddha in medicine in South India, has been finding a lot of texts that seems to hold the same subjects from Tibetan medicine that you don't see in Ayurveda, proving that actually um, Yuthok probably were in all parts of India studying different forms, not just Ayurveda, but perhaps even Siddha medicine. Well, we cannot really prove, but um, some evidences point in that direction. So Yuthok, in terms of healing, he was totally Rime. He was totally non-sectarian. And yes, he had this grasp on language that greatly helped him to just translate and bring in. Well, when he was 14, let's go back a little bit in the time. When he was 14, he had a dream with a medicine goddess. And this medicine goddess said, look, there are 4 tantras of medicine and you need to receive this. This is going to be very important in the future. So open your eyes and grab it as soon as it comes to your hands. And you thought, okay, the medicine goddess, okay, the Amrita Devi. And okay, when he went to India first time, I think he was 18 years old. Yeah, 18 years old was the first trip to India. He, as I said, studied medicine in different places. Not going to repeat myself, but a very special place that he visited was Maratika, the Maratika cave in Nepal. And guess who he met? He met a Dakini. Mm. A very special Dakini. Her name, Palden Trengwa. Ugh, okay. A very special Dakini called Palden Trengwa. Or, in Sanskrit, Shirimala. Shirimala. In this beautiful representation, she is sitting on a lotus, holding a kapala in her left hand and the mirror in her right hand. And Shirimala gave to him very special teachings, a whole path to enlightenment, a path that is comprised by Ngondro, four Guru Yogas, actually many more than four Guru Yogas, Dakini practice, Eden Hayagriva practice, all of this within the scope of creation phase and completion phase with characteristics, what we let's use not exactly that, but let's use a more uh, popular name, Six Yogas of Naropa. Would be comparable to that. Karma Mudra, which is part of those yogas, to a certain extent. Let's not talk too much about this. And great perfection and Mahamudra. Yeah, all of that at the same time. I mean, as a gradual path. So that became known as the heart essence of Yuthok. The story goes that the teachings somehow survived throughout the Yuthok family since the Yuthok the elder, but it was in Maratika that Yuthok received the full range of those teachings, the heart essence that became known as the heart essence of Yuthok, as the path of the rainbow body. Everything through this lady, Shirimala. It reminds me very much of the Shankpakagyo tradition in the sense that came from two women, right? Niguma and Sukasiddhi. So the teachings of the Yuthok Nyingtik, they pass through Shirimala, through this wisdom, Dakini. Now, you might be asking, who is Shirimala? And according to oral clarifications from Dr. Nida Changaksan, my teacher, my Tibetan medicine teacher from who I received the transmission of the Yuthok Nyingtik, and who also comes from the same region as the family of my teacher, Lama Tharchen Rinpoche. Lama, Dr. Nida says that actually she is a form of Mandarava. Do you remember this beginning of the story? Guru Rinpoche was the holder of those teachings that came down from the medicine Buddha. So it's natural that Mandarava would manifest in a more healing related, because she is the kini of longevity. Mandarava is the kini, she attained the city of longevity and immortality within Maratika cave in Nepal, along with Guru Rinpoche. So Shrimala Pauden Trengwa, she became the Dakini who held those teachings and transmitted to Yuthok Yonten Gonpo, the younger. And of course, Yuthok took those teachings to Tibet, naturally. Oops. Well, so let me see what else did Yuthok did during this travel. He studied the 8 branches of healing, Somaradza. Okay. Padantrengwa Shrimala offered to him all the pith instructions and empowerments for the teachings and of the Yuthok Nintik, but that was not enough. There's something more missing, something very important. Remember the prophecy of the Amrita Devi, of the Mingilamo? Well, I said that the Juji was concealed within the Utse temple of the Samye monastery. Well, in the I think 11th century, 1012, a very important Turton was born. His name was Jakpa. And Jakpa, he was from the region of Dra, that's why he was called the Drakpa. And he received monastic ordination in Samye and studied very much Abhidharma. Abhidharma in Tibetan is Monshe. So he just became known as the Abhidharma scholar from Ja, so Ja Pangonshe. And eventually and not only that, he also he visited Yarlung. He met Padampa Sangye in person. He received all the transmissions of the Shije tradition, and he received, I think I said in the other video in Portuguese, from Matik Labdon, the Chud, but actually he received from a student of Matik Labdon, Kor Nirupa, all the transmissions of Chud, the lineage of Chud from Matik Labdon. And something very interesting, Matik Labdon had been earlier his student in the subject of Pragya Paramita. So interesting how things came around with Jack Pangonshin. Okay. In 1038, he went to Samye and he found the texts of the Juji from the pillar in Samye that the translator Varuchana had hidden. Not only that, he also discovered other 2 important termas, the red Zambala and the protector Shanglong. Remember, I showed you guys a tanka of Yuthok. Let me see if I can find it again. Oh, actually, this will do. No. Remember the tanka? The bottom of the tanka, there was this figure here, This figure is the protector, Shanglong, the protector of Tanaduk, of Sudharshana, the medicine Buddha's Pure Land, and the protector of that medicine, and the protector of healers, doctors, everybody who works in healing, nurses, physical therapists, acupuncturists, everybody who works in healing. Comment down there if you want me to make a video about Shanglong. Yeah, Jacques Pangonche discovered this particular form of Shanglong. We call the Norhla, or the prosperity Shanglong. But you're always going to see in bigger tankas of the medicine Buddha, he is the protector of those teachings on healing. And that was, along with the four tantras of medicine Buddha, it was discovered by our friend Jacques Pangonche. Well, Jacques Pangonche, knowing the destiny of the Moji, of the Yushi, the four tantras, he passed it to he entrusted it to one of his students called Sokche Kongkyap. And another generation passed, and Sonche Kongkyap passed it on to Yuthok Yonten Gonpo, Yuthok the Young. And it was through those tantras that Tibetan medicine was organized. Yuthok started teaching medicine when he was and gathering medicine students when he was 34. And there are some other stories that actually Yuthok in his travels to different places, including Sumatra, he gathered knowledge and wrote himself the four tantras, and he bought it from Sumatra. But the most accepted version is that he really received from this disciple of Jakpa, the Jushin. And yeah, so Yuthok was a doctor, he was a healer, he was a scholar, he taught Buddhist doctrine, the Dharma, logic, grammar, medicine, arts, and crafts. Yuthok was just a polymath, a real polymath. And there is stories of him teaching everywhere and teaching Sanskrit and Dzogchen under the invitation of the king of Jodhar, having bestowed transmissions of Vajrakilaya, Hevajra, secret sadhanas of medicine Buddha. So he was not just on his own world of the medicine and of the Gyuji. He was a master of all schools of Tibetan Buddhism. That's the story. And so those are the two big legacies of Yuthok. The Yuthok Nyingtik, the teachings of the rainbow body, the gradual path of Buddhist practice with creation and completion, all the way to the rainbow body, and the four tantras of Tibetan medicine. Look, those tantras are around since the 11th century, right? 12th century, I think. Yeah, 12th century. And they have been used for teaching. Um, oh, let me put Yuthok. It's nicer than you guys looking at my face. Yes. Have been all the doctors within history, Tibetan history, have been um, studying how to read pulse, how to ask questions, how to read urine, how to read the face, how to read the tongue of patients since the 12th century, how to apply medicine, external medicine, herbs since the 12th century. Look, Columbus have arrived in discovered the Republican Dominic Republican no, oh gosh, República Dominicana, whatever you say that in English, Dominican Republic in 1492, right? Eventually, America, when I say America, I'm talking America, not just North America, was discovered. So for the official history of our continent has what, 530 years, perhaps? Tibetan medicine has been taught non-stop based in the same method, and it has been healing people for 9 centuries. Same basis, and is still healing. Before Descartes, before medicine as we know today, the best medicine in the world we have here, and it's continuously evolving. Well, Tibetan doctors have been relying on this, and that has been working since that time. Think about that. Think about the deep impact on healing that Yuthok gave to us. If you pray to Yuthok with faith and devotion, you will definitely receive his blessings. You will definitely be able to heal better, to make assessments, diagnostics, choices of treatment better. And if you unite your mind with the wisdom mind of Yuthok, you will see your true face, primordial purity. And hopefully all of us will attain rainbow body, healing and meditating on Yuthok. And speaking about rainbow body, in 1198, with Sun Tong, his main student, at the age of 66, Yuthok's mind resolved back into the basic space, into the Dharma Dhatu. But not only that, much more than a physical death, Yuthok manifested the rainbow body. He attained enlightenment displaying the rainbow body, showing us that the path for enlightenment is possible, it's doable, and that the rainbow body still alive as a reality in our days. So I urge everyone who is deeply inspired by Yuthok, inspired by healing, to look for an authentic lineage holder of this tradition, such as Dr. Nida, and receive these teachings and practice for the benefit of our patients, for the benefit of all sentient beings. Thank you all. Mhm.